This podcast is produced by the Harwood Productions Podcast Network. To learn more about the network and to find more of our shows, visit us online at www.harwoodpodcast.com.
Homemade biscuits are so great to serve for dinner, and these are really easy to make. All you do is start by getting 2 cups of flour and putting it in a medium-sized bowl. And then you're going to want to get 4 teaspoons of baking powder. We want a lot of lift in these biscuits. And then just a half a teaspoon of salt. And then I use a pastry blender just to kind of mix those ingredients together. And then I get out just 2 tablespoons of butter out of the refrigerator, and I just cut it up like this with a knife. It makes it easier to blend. And then I just grab the pastry blender and I start cutting that butter in. It only takes just a minute or two, and what we're looking for are little pea-sized pieces of butter all throughout the flour, just like this. And then our last ingredient is a cup of milk, and you can use any kind of milk that you've got on hand. And just grab a spatula and start mixing those ingredients together. Now it'll start to pull together like this, but it's still very, very sticky. So once the flour's mixed in, get a baking sheet with a piece of parchment out and ready. And then I'm just using a little cutting board, and I'm going to generously dust that with flour because this dough is so sticky. And then I'm just going to spoon it out onto the cutting board. Now what you want to do is get all of that batter off the spatula, dust it pretty generously with flour on top, and take your hands and press it out just a little bit like this. Then you're going to fold it in half like this, put a little bit more flour on it because this is very, very sticky, press it out a little bit more, and then fold it in half again. Now all this folding is going to make some nice layers in our biscuits, which is great. So once you've got it all folded, grab a rolling pin, put a little flour on it, and we're going to roll this out to be about, between 1/2 and 3/4 of an inch thick. Now you can use any kind of biscuit cutters you have. In fact, at Easter time, I have these little bunny ears that I use. But for every day, I just get a glass out. Doesn't really matter the diameter. It's kind of however big you want them to be. And I just go through and I cut the biscuits out. And this is why I like to have my baking sheet and everything ready. That way I cut them and I just put them right on the baking sheet like this. And then you want to continue on get as many cuts out of this first roll as you can. Then just gather the remnants of the dough up, kind of pull it into a ball, press it out with your hand. You can also use the rolling pin if you want. Try to get it about the same thickness, and if you ever find that it's starting to stick, just add a little bit of flour and then just continue cutting your biscuits. Now I like to use every last bit of this dough, so I just keep pressing them out and cutting them as often as I can until I get to this very, very last one, and it's about as big as I would want it to be. And so I just press it out and go ahead and add it onto the baking sheet just as is. And then we're going to put these in a 450-degree oven, and they're going to bake for just about 12 minutes. So this process doesn't take very long at all. But look at these wonderful golden biscuits. They've got nice lift in them. They're fantastic. These biscuits are great with soups, stews, any kind of home-cooked meal, but definitely serve them with some jam and butter. Now, if you want to get the recipe, you can go to our website and go to the Daily Bread show notes. I'll have it there for you. And also, make sure you sign up for our monthly newsletter. Each month, we put up 42 new episodes of all of our shows. And this newsletter will give you not only links to it, but keep you up to date on what's going on. And of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to send me an email. I'll see you next time.